The immunity that Mr. Matlala has been invoking to try and run away from accountability, it looks like it has ran its course, because today he had to answer the most uncomfortable questions regarding his relationships with the people that it looks like he has been protecting, saying that they are just his friends, he just knows them. Today we got to get inside and understand how deep does it go.
You had dealings with Mr. Msibi outside of your VIP cat protection services that you were offering him. You had other dealings with him. You tried to get into a business venture to buy a plane together. That's your testimony, right? You tried to do a business deal with him.
Yes.
Yes, that's all I'm saying. You were forwarding proofs of payment, and that has nothing to do with you being VIP protection services. When you forward these messages, that these proofs of payment that you say you do not remember. So the only point I'm making is you were not just a security provider to him. You had other interactions with him that had nothing to do with your services as a service provider for protection services. You had other dealings with him. Some attempt at doing business together. Some you were a conduit for proofs of payment from somebody to him. All of that indicate you had other dealings with him. Forget relationship. You had other dealings with him. Mr. Matlala, that should not be difficult.
Yes, yeah, dealings are had, yes.
This story of today just reminded me of what the Minister of Police said, the acting minister, which is Firoz Kachalia. This weekend, when they were having a memorial of Babito Diokoran, he said something that is quite worrying about how these people that are involved in the scandal of Tembisa Hospital are very powerful.
And I think part of the reason why we don't have justice today is that those people are in positions of power than in positions to be able to protect themselves.
Today, we're going to talk about those ones that have been named powerful, that have been named untouchable, because Vusimuzi Matlala has unlocked the door and we want to see inside. And if you are willing to see what is inside with me, let's get to the video.
My learned friend's address to you, I submit, is absolutely irrelevant. I've posed the question to the witness and the witness will answer my question. If Advocate Fandi Hefer is interested in what I intend to have for lunch, it's a conversation we will have outside. She's not going to preempt my line of questioning.
So the first thing that I think was very important today to take away is the fact that Vusimuzi Matlala literally has a big problem with those recordings. And it's not Matlala only. Even his legal representatives, they look like they have like a huge problem when it comes to those recordings. They don't want those recordings to actually be relied on, and they're still invoking the right to not self-incriminate. Even though one of the things that I think are very important here and that should be discussed is the fact that there is no proof, nor there is evidence that these recordings are under investigation. And that's one of the biggest things about Matlala, that Matlala has came forward before the commission and has been saying the same thing for the past three days of testimony. Actually, not subsequent, but ever since he started his testimony, he's always hiding behind this facade of there is an investigation that is still undergoing. And that's the thing. He can't provide anything. He can't give us any proof. And he's using that as a wall to limit the commissioners from asking him about certain information that is very important. So his defense seems like it's separated into two. Number one, Section 35 of the Constitution, the right against self-incrimination. Then number two, the second strategy that it looks like he's using is to say that I'm being investigated. And I don't expect the SIU nor the subs to come and clarify that, because it wouldn't make sense. It would defeat the entire purpose for them to come and say, no, we are not investigating him, so he can talk about it. Or no, we are investigating, therefore he can talk about it. Him knowing that he's being investigated and it being confirmed, we don't know if there's anything that will actually come in between the investigations. Therefore, the simplest thing that can be done is to at least allow the police to do the investigation to finish, and for the subs as well as the SIU to not comment on any of the investigations that might be implicating him. So at this moment, it looks like he knows that this facade of a defense, this big defense that is using, this wall that is putting between him and the commissioners, is working, because the commissioners can't go and want some confirmation from the subs and all of that thing. Instead, they can just take what he has to say. But that's the thing, he doesn't have even a pinch of an evidence to prove to the commissioners that indeed some of these matters we cannot discuss because they are being investigated by the police, and that the investigations are still very much they're still very much active. Therefore, he can't talk about certain things.
I want to assure you that I will not allow Mr. Matlala to say nothing about those recordings because I'm being investigated. He will, in accordance with paragraph 109 of the Constitutional Court judgment, have to specify a crime for us to have a better idea as to the basis upon which the privilege is being asserted.
I'm happy to leave it at that on that basis, Chair.
Thank you very much.
Hence, I even told you guys yesterday that I have a problem with him saying that Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi must come with those recordings, because I believe that even if Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi can come with those recordings, the agenda that is being pushed by him and Advocate Annelien van der Never, it's simple. Their argument is that we are not going to rely on things that we believe might incriminate our clients because of the pending cases and the alleged investigations against our client. And I'm happy that the commissioners were able to pierce that veil. They were able to open and ensure that they go inside. And I love it, because Madlanga ruled that, you know what, I understand where you guys are coming from, but we need to get something, somewhere, you know. And I used to feel like during his examination in chief, that is one of the most useless witnesses, because literally he's using this big wall to close us off from knowing what is actually going on. But little by little, the Madlanga Commission is uncovering the truth. And we got to find out more than what was revealed to us through examination in chief.
I'm referring to quite a number of articles that I know that the thing is, I've never been approached by, I won't lie to you that I've been approached by an investigator saying that I'm under, I won't lie to you.
Okay.
I was never approached, but I just know that I am under investigation, which it might be true, it might not, I don't know that.
And precisely, I guess, because it might be true, it might not. You know, articles are known to claim a lot. You have just confirmed that you haven't been approached by any investigator. So it's not confirmed to you personally that you are under investigation.
Yes, but we are using the same articles to claim that I am under investigation. The same way as you yourself, you say you can use articles as evidence in this commission. So I'm using the same articles as well.
So the first topic that Vusimuzi Matlala was faced with was the one with regards to his relationship with Mr. Maumela. He never denied. Let's give it to him. He never denied that he has a relationship with Maumela and that Maumela is his friend. But we never knew how deep the business ventures actually go, because from his examination in chief, he just said, this person, I know him, he's my friend, and didn't give us detail with regards to the businesses. And that's the thing about cross-examination in chief. If you're not going to give us information about certain things, you make it easy for us to think, oh, okay, oh, so it ends there. Oh, nothing is going on, so it ends there. Whereas we get to find out as he's giving testimony, especially during cross-examination, that no, there's more to the story. With Hangwani Maumela, it looks like he is agreeing, but also he doesn't want to answer to certain questions, raising the same thing that I spoke about earlier, which is the fact that the SIU is investigating Maumela and the Maumela family, anything that is in relation to the Maumelas. And apparently with the freezing of the assets and the order that has came out, apparently Matlala believes that he's also being investigated. Relying on some article from SIU that he's being investigated. And also there was, I don't know if he's relying on the YouTube video where Advocate Andy Motsumi, the current National Director of Public Prosecution, where he spoke about the syndicates that are involved and some of the people that are part of this Tembisa hospital. And Matlala's name was just far no one confirmed that he's being investigated. Even Motsumi said nothing about the investigations that are concerning Hangwani Maumela as well as Vusimuzi Matlala being part of the people that are being investigated by the SIU.
The syndicates involved in the scheme are being unmasked on a daily basis, and the perpetrators are gradually being brought to book. As you all recall, a major recent development is the outcome of the special tribunal judgment, where the sale of one of the top-of-the-range vehicles belonging to one of the major lead syndicate was authorized for sale, and more such preservations are being pursued.
What we know for sure is that these 3 syndicates that the SIU has pointed out to and has clearly stated that they're being investigated, and there's already action that is being taken against them, because some of them, their assets are being frozen, some of them there's forfeiture orders, some of them they're still trying to obtain forfeiture orders, and the ones that we know is the Hangwani Maumelas and the Mazibugos. We had know nothing about the Gavin Raju as to what is going on there in terms of the assets, but the SIU is definitely doing something with regards to Tembisa Hospital. And the last time Motsumi gave an update, he said very soon they're going to do something with regards to Hangwani Maumela. Said nothing about Matlala, but Matlala is using that to say that he's being investigated, and if he gives information here, he's going to be implicated in the way he's going to self-incriminate.
Advanced stage. It is at an advanced stage. Of course, whilst it's in the DPCI side, we are trying to make sure that it's speeded up by giving them guidance while it's still in the prosecutor guided, while it's still investigated by DPCI, because the public continuously asks about this matter. We would like to demonstrate, amongst others, that the criminal justice system really takes this matter serious by acting upon them. So in terms of timeline, I really can't give you now, but it is really at an advanced stage, and we're expecting to see results.
And one of the interesting things here is that we are finding out that there's 3 more other companies that are involved. This thing of Vusimuzi Matlala and Hangwani Maumela, they have some business ventures that they're involved in, where they have a service provider, invest money in that service provider, and then what the service provider then does is that they will go get the stock for them, that service that is needed, especially in hospitals. For example, Tembisa Hospital, maybe they need the masks. The person will go get the masks for them from the money, and from the money that they've invested with the service provider. And when the hospital pays, then the money will go to Matlala. Then Matlala will then give Mr. Maumela 10% of that particular money.
We'll call the first person, let's just say the main supplier is the person who will be buying the stock from. Let's just call him the main supplier.
Yes.
Myself and Mr. Maumela will, I gave an example of 1 million rands.
Yes.
From our own personal accounts. We'll take that money and put it to the main supplier's account. Main supplier, not Maumela or myself, main supplier.
Yes.
And depending myself or him, whoever will get the RFQ first. And then let's make an example that maybe the RFQ says 200,000 rands. The main supplier is not giving you money, it's giving you stock that is worth 200,000 rands. And then you go and buy your stock, and Commissioner Baloyi made an example that you get 300,000, and then the 200,000, because you took it from the main supplier, it goes back to the main supplier's account. And then the profit now is 100,000 rands. From that profit, 10% of that profit, it will be 10,000 rands, 10% of 100,000 rands.
So that was the crux of the agreement or the business relations that is happening between Matlala and Hangwani Maumela. People have always obviously alluded to the fact that there seems to be some money laundering that is involved in all of this. I wouldn't be shocked if indeed that is what is going on, but I think this topic really did frustrate the commissioners, of which I'm not shocked. If you know how lawyers are, or anyone in the legal fraternity, not everybody though, guys, but most of them, I know that most don't even love the bookkeeping exam for boards. Don't even love the bookkeeping exams because anything that concerns numbers, we just don't like it. I also don't like numbers. And I think that's what frustrated the commissioners because Matlala couldn't find the proper way for him to explain. And I don't know why he's not asking for interpretation for someone that will come and interpret these things in a language that he's comfortable with. But I just think that to a certain degree, his explanation was limited because of how he was articulating himself. He couldn't articulate himself, would confuse the commissioners. We'll find ourselves in one topic over and over again, and they're just exchanging that, oh, but this is what I said. No, this is not what I said. This is what I mean. You know, that exchange that was going on. But literally, that was what was going on between Hangwani Maumela and Vusimuzi Matlala in terms of their business ventures. And it looks like, as I've said, other people will see it as some form of money laundering, that it looks like the service provider was cleaning money for them, in as much as they're saying they're investing so that the service provider can provide the services. But to a certain degree, it looks like some money laundering scheme, and they're using the service provider to actually clean the money so that it doesn't look like they're doing anything that is illegal. So one of the red flags about this whole thing is that in as much as they have a joint business venture, there is no agreement in place, which means probably they just agreed by themselves without having to include any written agreement or anything of that kind. So that is what we have with Hangwani Maumela.
Yes, I think there were some questionable forms in which certain things are done. If one looks at this whole procurement of medical supplies, for example, one of the puzzling things is, you get the tender. You take almost like on a retainer basis, you put money into a supplier's account that supports then, and then the transaction goes. You know, the question there is now, why this convoluted method? Are you attempting to hide the money quickly and create too many chinks in the chain so that it cannot be detected by forensic investigation? Because once I put this money and I put it into that particular account, the transaction then disguises my involvement because the paper trail goes directly between the supplier
as well as government.
In the meantime, I'm the beneficiary. Absolutely. So those kind of methods I'm used to in investigations from gang and organized crime trials in the Western Cape, where they are a bit more advanced, but in terms of protecting such things. That is a similar method, particularly when you want to acquire some, by hook and crook, precursor chemicals for some types of drugs or some type of equipment like pill machines that they use eventually to manufacture mandrakes. I've seen a similar kind of pattern where you place it in another company that has a legitimate reason to get to the equipment, get them to tie them to where they're getting it from, and that is the way you work. So it is a very you are covering your trail quite well with that particular process, and I think the deeper we get into it, we're going to start to understand. You know, if this case goes where it goes, if the PKTT is where it is now, we are moving in the direction of showing the transactional relationship.
Hangwani Maumela is so important, if I can tell you as my viewers in this channel. It's very important. He's very, very important. But I understand the limitations in terms of the evidence that can be given about him. But I think there is more to the story about Hangwani Maumela than what we already have. And I think with what we already have, it's enough for the Madlanga to actually subpoena Hangwani. He needs to be subpoenaed at this moment. And I think since we are now in the stream of dealing with the alleged cartel members, high chances we will get to see Hangwani Maumela. I can't wait for that day. I don't know about you, but I just really can't wait. And also, he did specify that they shares a passion with sports cars. We know that Hangwani loves, is it Lamborghinis? Yeah, those nice sport cars, they're like Lamborghinis, and all of his cars are all blue. Hence, you remember that problem that they had with Omar dealing You remember it, where they just had Hangwani Maumela's vehicles in the entire collection or in the entire shop. And the reason why it was easy for the SIU to make the assumptions that they made was because Hangwani Maumela loves them blue. So they were there in that dealership and they were all blue. But they denied that they have any relationships with Matlala. Actually, they complained and said, go for Matlala, don't come for us as dealers because we didn't do anything. So yeah, but then let us move to one of the very interesting topics, and that was Mswazi Msibi and Matlala. So to those who don't know, just for quick update, with Shadrack Sibiya, I think they're going to do Shadrack Sibiya next. And Shadrack Sibiya, I'm telling you, if you watched yesterday's episode, I know you are ready for Shadrack Sibiya. If you watched yesterday's episode, trust me, you are ready for Shadrack Sibiya, because what Advocate Hasim is about to do to Matlala is about to crack him broken. That cross-examination is about to be lit. Trust me. And if you didn't watch yesterday's episode, I blame you. And all I can say is you need help. You need, let me pray for you. Otherwise, guys, let us move to Mswazi Msibi. So we looked at the WhatsApp chats between Mswazi Msibi and Matlala, and we got to realize that this relationship is deep. It's deep. These people even wanted to buy aircrafts. These people, what I've realized is that people bana le tšhelete. Guys, batho bana le tšhelete hantle le. Hantle batho bana le tšhelete. Ke rena fela. Re zamang mo ko YouTube, re zamang ko mmerekong. Ke rena fela. It's us only. People literally have monies, and you can even see from Matlala's dress code that he has money. And yesterday, something interesting happened. The correctional services, one of the correctional services officers were asked about Matlala's luxurious wearing, and they asked him, why is Matlala wearing like this? Where does he get these clothes? And his response was like, it threw me off. I was like, yeah, guys, the correctional services has nothing to do with this. Matlala just has money. He loves fashion. He's like me. Even kaba le chelete le nna le tlo mpona ke tlo ba le fashionista le hectic le dese. That's the type of person I'm gonna be. Joking, guys, joking. I love fashion, but not to that level. Matlala, they wear Louis Vuittons and whatnot from head to toe. Everything is so expensive.
Keep getting asked this, so I've got you here, so I'm going to ask you. He appears before the commission, or he appears in court draped in designer threads. Where does he get those clothes from? Who brings them? Where does he get changed? Where does he get ready for his court appearances?
In terms of policy, what is allowed for is for inmates to appear, I'll talk about the court in this instance, in civilian clothing that is presentable. We've engaged with our facilities in saying that they ought to make it a point that they avoid a situation where it then becomes a bizarre state where, in a way, it's like a fashion show where offenders will then use designer clothes for such. But the bottom line is that you must be presentable and you must be in civilian clothing, because there is a court order to that particular effect.
So, yeah, these people have money. So we see now this relationship of Mswazi Msibi and Matlala, and the chats between them, and the fact that they had a business venture that they wanted to take, which is to buy an aircraft, but somehow he changed his mind. But it gets so interesting because now we see that Mswazi Msibi has a relationship with Maumela.
Comparing my relationship with Mr. Msibi, I cannot say Mr. Maumela had the same relationship with Mr. Msibi.
Don't compare, just give a description of the relationship as you understood it.
You will know him as because he called me my son's friend.
So you're saying it's in that context that there was an exchange of 4 million to his son's friend?
I said I do not know what was that payment for. I don't know that.
So you say you don't know what the payment was for?
Yes.
Were you involved in any manner in the payment?
Involved how?
In any manner? That was the question.
It's Mr. Maumela who paid Mr. Msibi.
It's Mr. Maumela paying Mr. Msibi. Were you involved?
It's not actually Mr. Msibi, because it's Mr. Khoza. When I see the bank, what is it called? The proof of payments. It's Mr. Khoza. But the money was sent to the proof of payments. I sent them to Mr. Msibi.
Indeed. Who is Agrippa Khoza? We don't know who is this guy. However, someone from the Newsroom Africa tried to give us an answer as to who he is, but I still think there's more to the story than what we are being told, because clearly this Agrippa Khoza person also has some relationship with Mr. Hangwani Maumela. How deep is this? You see, the network is just, it's just too wide. It's bigger than what we know and what we think.
If I'm looking for I'm going to look at what the transaction was, what other transactions are part of a pattern, and what explains this very strange kind of relationship between two other parties sending proof of payments about the other transaction to other people. And that was the 1.3 million transaction in that particular case. But the new name, Agrippa Khoza, the commission would do well now to look deeper, the investigators, because, I mean, Mr. Agrippa, I know from my past in intelligence and investigations into the organized crime world, and work up here in Gauteng also, that he is quite closely tied to Mr. Kunene, and we will find patterns of association with Kunene there. But
tell you the honest truth, I am not shocked. I'm not shocked because remember, Mr. Kenny Kunene is the one that was at Katiso Molefe's house during the raid on the 6th of December 2024, and he denied that he has a relationship with Mr. Katiso Molefe. He said he just was there to accompany a journalist, has no relationship with Mr. Katiso Molefe. So from that, and now connecting this, especially since we now know that Mr. Katiso Molefe was the friend of Mr. Mswazi Msibi, was even going to the farm. We were told about all of that information by Mr. Matlala himself during his examination in chief. So connecting that and the fact that this guy was found in Katiso Molefe's house but have a relationship with Mr. Molefe. We even saw pictures of him singing for Mr. Mtetwa, who was one of the people also Matlala was asked about. He has some relationships with this circle. So I'm not shocked that his name is there and the fact that probably he has a relationship with Mr. Khoza. But my only worry is that I don't think enough is being provided, but I think over time enough is going to be revealed. Either through Maumela, if he's going to appear before the commission, or as these testimonies go by. Because Mr. Motsumi is also going to attend the commission. Probably is going to be asked about this person. But I think the best option here, or the best thing that the commission can do, is to call Mr. Khoza himself so that he can answer. And I hope they will pick, or they will ask him about his relationship with Mr. Kenny Kunene, because Kenny Kunene is a politician and his party, the head or the founder of the Patriotic Alliance, is a minister in parliament. We are also dealing with political interference. So we want to know what is his relationship with all these individuals, or Mr. Kenny Kunene, if indeed these allegations are true, because for now, these are just allegations.
And Mr. Molefe came out and they said, no, open the gate.
So just for clarity, you were yet to enter the premises as well. Is that what you're saying?
No, we're inside the premises.
So you're inside the premises? Okay, but there's two of you inside now. It's you and the young journalist you've come to introduce to Mr. Molefe.
No, it's me, the young journalist, and the person that is coming to introduce us to Mr. Molefe.
All right.
The person that has facilitated for the interview to happen.
Mm-hmm.
So before we could even go in the house or sit wherever we're going, the journalist will do an interview, then the police arrived, rifles, Casper, V-classes, and they then asked who is the owner of the house. Mr. Molefe said, it's me, and then they handcuffed him, and they then wanted our particulars, and they called me to ask me these questions. What am I doing there? And I explained to them. They asked me if I've got the number of Mr. Molefe. They want to see it. I said, I don't have his number.
All right.
By the way, you can take my phone, punch his number, and see if I have it.
Mm-hmm.
How did you get here? I got here because this person sent me the address. And I can show you on my phone. I got the address and I came here. I just arrived.
The relationship, the way it goes, is that it looks like Maumela had borrowed money. I don't know if he borrowed money. We don't know the terms. But the weird thing about this whole transaction of Maumela and Mswazi Msibi is that Matlala is somehow looks like a middle person, because he's sending bank statements, he's sending anything that, proof of payments to Mr. Msibi from Hangwani Maumela, but he says he doesn't know the agreement. There's no way that you're going to use me as a middle person when I don't even know what I'm doing, especially if tomorrow that thing is going to put me in trouble. So I don't know how is it that Matlala says he doesn't know. I think he knows very well what was going on between them, and he knows very well what type of businesses they were both involved in. Unfortunately, Mr. Mswazi Msibi is no more to actually answer for himself, but Mr. Maumela is there to give us all the answers that we are looking for, even though there's high chances that he might also lie and not tell us what is actually going on here. But there was monies that seems like they were in exchange between Mr. Maumela and Mswazi Msibi, and Matlala just distanced himself from all of that.
The date against the entry date of payment. The first one I see, it's paid from account. The account holder is supposed to be the entity identified there. I don't know if is it redacted. The reference is M. Maumela. Do you see that? And the amount is for 1.3 million.
Of course, yes.
And then it gives the account, well, part of the account number, and it says payer details, paid from account holder. Do you see that?
I see that.
Do you know that entity?
No, I don't know it.
The next one at page 180 is the same, but this time it's for 200,000, and except it comes from a different account holder. Wafra Consulting, do you know that company?
I don't know the company.
The fourth one at 181 is for, looks like 3 million, if my zeros are correct. And it's the same as the first entity that paid 1.3 million. Once again, the recipient being Agrippa Khoza, and the reference being M. Maumela. Do you see that?
Yes, I see it.
And the last one at page 182 is for 500,000. Similarly, the recipient identified as Agrippa Khoza and the reference being Maumela.
And it looks like Agrippa Khoza somehow was involved in the chats. But one thing about Matlala, his defense is, I don't remember, I don't know, I'm not involved, all of those things. And that is not enough. So we see a shift from, I don't want to incriminate myself, to I don't know. So he's always trying to find a way for him to not give further information, even though somehow he's involved and he's in the middle of certain things that don't look good, that just look shady. But at the same time, this was a relationship between Mr. Mswazi Msibi and Maumela. So the best people to answer what is actually going on, it's either of them, of which one of them is no more in this earth. So which means Maumela will have to answer. That is why I'm saying this is time for Maumela to actually appear before the commission. And I love what Sesi Maloyi said, that when you look at the relationship between Maumela, as between Matlala and Mr. Mswazi Msibi, it was not a relationship of a service provider and just a client. It was more than that, because when you look at the payment notification, the proposal for lounge, the selling of vehicles, the business ventures that they're thinking about, all of those things, it signals that the relationship was definitely deeper with Mr. Mswazi Msibi. And I definitely agree with the commissioner that the relationship was deeper than what we think. And I'm now interested in understanding the relationship now between Maumela and Mswazi Msibi. Aren't you? Let me hear your thoughts in the comment section as to how interested are you to want to understand the relationship between Maumela and Mr. Mswazi Msibi. Now let us go to Matlala and Steve Motsumi. Mr. Steve Motsumi, Baba, yeah, guys, Baba Motsumi, I didn't do anything, hey? We are just talk about you here because they speak about you at the Madlanga. The day they stop speaking about you, I'll speak about whoever they speak about at the Madlanga. Please don't come for us, guys. We are just here reporting about Madlanga. So here it seems like their relationship started, from what Matlala said, started after Msibi's wedding. And he did say he saw him before, but did not have an encounter. But first time when he sat with him was in that particular wedding. And then after the unaliving or the funeral of Mr. Mswazi Msibi, that is when their relationship became strong and he borrowed that 5 million rands. And he says that was before the subs tender, but it was also for another tender that he had. And he says that he paid that particular money. But what was weird is that he said there was a written agreement in regards to that 5 million, only to find out that no, it was the AOD, which is the acknowledgement of debt, instead of a thingy. Instead of what he told us, which is that there's a written agreement.
That the loan with Mr. Karim was on a handshake and didn't have a loan agreement, a written loan agreement, and you specifically mentioned that this one had a loan agreement. So have we been wrong all along to call that document an agreement?
I've been wrong, Advocate Silo. I just remembered that it's an acknowledgement. It's not a loan agreement. I'm the one who was wrong.
So similarly with this loan of 5 million, there was no loan agreement, and therefore, what do you recall what the terms of the loan were? Because I wouldn't expect to find such detail in the acknowledgement of debt.
I think they are there. I'm not sure. I don't remember on top of my head, but I don't, because earlier I explained that I don't remember the terms.
The terms of the loan, he said that he was supposed to repay the loan within the period of 12 months. And yeah, he says their relationship was strictly business, but it looks like it was not. It was not really strictly business. When he was asked as to what other things did they do, it's like he failed to tell us, is there any other things that he was doing with Mr. Motsumi besides business? Then later on, that's when we see that he went and then borrowed 20 million rands. That was in connections to the subs tender.
It was not an easy thing for him to just give me 20 million like that. Because the other time he gave me 5 million, he said, oh, just like that.
I can assure you I would never have posed that question, because I know for a fact he's given you 5 million without a single piece of paper, just a handshake, because he infinitely trusted you. I've accepted that. That's your relationship. So I would never have asked you how he could consider giving you 20 million. If it was somebody else, yes, I potentially might have asked, but you're in the clear.
Okay.
It then makes sense to a certain degree, because remember that this information, we didn't have it. We thought that the 5 million rands was before the tender. We didn't know that there was another additional 20 million rands that was borrowed in regards to the tender. Then it makes sense why Mr. Motsumi was sent that document of the probable termination, that audit report of the probable termination of the contract of Vusimuzi and Matlala. It makes sense why Fani Nkosi sent that message or forwarded that information to Mr. Motsumi. Because if he invested, obviously he's an interested party. And I think the same thing might have been even sent to people like Karim, because all these individuals invested towards Medicare 24. And it's so weird that it looks like everybody in the circle of Matlala just invested in that tender. From Hangwani Maumela, looks like he invested, even though we don't have proof, because what we know is what Karim told us at the Madlanga Commission. But it looks like somehow Mr. Maumela also invested. Those people were business partners, and probably this whole tender was their thing. In as much as it looks like Mike Van Wyk was the one at the forefront, but I wouldn't be shocked if Hangwani Maumela somehow had an equal share or had an equal role to play. Karim invested. Mr. Steve Motsumi invested. At that time, Mswazi Msibi couldn't invest because already he was sick, and I think he was already gone from this earth. He was already buried. So everybody, it looks like everyone was literally involved in the subs tender. Others, they're investors, others, they are partners. There's just a lot. It doesn't look like it was Matlala's tender. It looks like it was a tender of a group of people, which will make you ask questions as to, like, what was the purpose? Why would you gang up on one tender? Or maybe that's how it goes. They help each other. When this one gets the tender, they help this one. When this one gets the tender, they help them. I just don't understand how we got here. But for me, it signals to a probable, as evidence leader Chaskausen said, it does look like some money laundering. If you looked at it clearly, it does look like some money laundering. Even though Vusimuzi Matlala was strong and answered the best of his ability, would question stuff, of which I was so proud of him. You know, people say Matlala is dumb. I don't think Matlala is dumb. I think Matlala is smart, guys. I think these people, they know what they're doing. They know what they're doing. Besides that, that is basically what I have for you guys with regards to Matlala's testimony. I know that I might not have grasped everything because days are not the same. There's days whereby I can grasp everything, but there's days whereby I would not be able to grasp everything. Sometimes I would even forget some of the important facts or some of the important arguments that were made. Hence, it's important for you to be there to watch and for you to comment in the comment section and for you to tell us and school us and add the information as to what are some of the things that are important, because this is not about me, it's about us. We are doing this together. We are trying to understand the whole thing together. As much as I can do the video, but we are a community. We figure this out together and we assist each other in terms of certain aspects that were not understood or certain things that I did not explain well. That's why you are here, to go to the comment section, explain, tell us what you think, drop your thoughts. I know someone will engage. I will engage with you. We will talk about it in the comment section. Otherwise, guys, I will see you on my next upload. Bye.